I spent most of last week on the river. I was there Monday, Tuesday, and part of Wednesday. Went back Friday morning and came home Saturday morning. Caught a few fish, but it's Monday afternoon now, and I'm in southwest Mississippi. I'm about to deer hunt for the first time this year. It's October 24th. The last time I was here at this spot was January 29th. So it's been about 9 months. But I hadn't deer hunted yet this year. I'm ready to go. Some rain is supposed to come in later tonight and into the morning. And after that, the temperatures are supposed to moderate, get better than what they are now. It's about 85 degrees now. I sweated down setting this camp up. But Tuesday night and Wednesday night supposed to be in the low 40s, and then Thursday night down in the 40s. The highs those days in the lower 70s, so it's going to be fairly pleasant. Anyway, I'm looking forward to getting in the woods and looking for a deer. It's a little water moccasin. I almost ran over him. I saw him just in time to miss him. He's not going to move. Now, if I got close enough to him, he'd move. I'm probably 4 feet from him. I'm going to go and let him try to get across the road before somebody else comes. They're liable to run over him. The rain is here. It's been raining since about 6 o'clock. It's 8 o'clock now. I think there's a little bit more to come, but I'm telling you, we sure needed the rain. I'm glad to see it. Temperatures ought to get down a little cooler now also. After it got through raining this morning, I went around and scouted some areas. I had my bow with me. I wasn't really deer hunting. I wasn't being stealthy. I was just looking, scouting around. The woods don't seem to be as thick this year. I think it's because of the lack of rainfall we've had in the last 6-7 weeks. I'm not far from the Mississippi River, and it is critically low right now. There's barges and tugs over there stuck, can't go anywhere, the river's so low. Anyway, I had a look around today, and I got a place lined out for in the morning. I'll be there before daylight. It's a place that I really like to go hunt, but I hadn't hunted in it a couple of years because a storm come through here a couple of years ago and just devastated that area with blowdowns and stuff. And it grew up so bad, it would have been a fight getting in there. But I went and looked at it today, and it's settled down some, so I'm going to go there in the morning and check that out. I hunted this morning till about noon. It was probably 40 degrees at daylight. Nice, very nice morning. I didn't see any deer, but I got right up on one. and it ran off. I didn't know it was there till it ran off. I didn't see it, so I don't know what it was. A deer just walked up right here, about 50 yards away, and snorted and ran off. That was pretty neat. But I'm going to hunt in the morning too, and until about noon over there around the river. And I'll probably hunt here tomorrow afternoon. I'm going to go home Friday morning. But this has been pretty much just a scouting trip. It's the first time I've been over here this year. I found some rubs this morning. There's several rubs. In fact, it's been made in the last 2 or 3 weeks in different places. So I've got a couple of bucks located. I don't know what they are, but I know where a couple are. But I'll be back in a couple of weeks and hunt pretty hard at it. Coyotes are lighting it up back that way. Looks like supper's ready. I hunted this morning until noon again. I didn't see any deer. I saw some more good sign. I'll know a good idea of where I'm going to hunt when I come next, in a couple of weeks when I get back. Anyway, some of my earliest memories are of nature, wildlife, birds, just the outdoors. I've been fascinated with it my entire life. And I was born in 1956. Back then, there weren't very many deer. In fact, there were places, if somebody saw a white-tailed deer, it made the news. It was front page on the newspaper. So I grew up not around deer at all, and not around people who hunted deer, because it just wasn't happening. But back in then was when the U.S. government and the state started implementing the deer recovery programs. And let me tell you, I think that they are probably the most successful animal recovery programs ever implemented on this earth. How the white-tailed deer has come back in the numbers that we have nowadays. But anyway, back in school, when I was young in school, 8, 9 years old, every year or twice a year, the people would come around with the brochures for the book fair. And we'd look through there, and if you wanted to order books, you could. And of course, I always looked for the outdoor themed books or magazines or whatever. And I would order stuff like that. I bought Old Yeller and read it, and I bought the book about Old Yeller's son and read it, and Charlie the Lonesome Cougar, and Yellow Eyes, which was a novel about a mountain lion, and stuff like that. But one time, I don't know what grade I was in, 8 or 9 years old, and I was looking down through the book fair brochure, and I come across a magazine called Outdoor Life. And I said, what's that? So I read about what it was, everything outdoors pertaining to hunting and fishing. And I said, yeah, that's for me. So I bought me a subscription, a 1-year subscription to Outdoor Life. And I could not wait for the first magazine to come in the mail. And when it did, I was in there flipping the pages and rabbit hunting, squirrel hunting, pheasant hunting. I learned about pheasant. And about the middle of the book, I opened it up, And here was an article, and it showed, it was an illustration, it wasn't a picture. It showed a snowy scene with two trails that crossed. And coming down one of the trails was a buck running. And the name of the article was Bag Your Buck at a Crossing. And when I saw that and read that article, I was hooked on white-tailed deer. From right then, that started my, I wouldn't say obsession, but that started my lifelong love with the white-tailed deer. That is my most favorite animal on this planet. And I've been hunting since I was about 13. I've been deer hunting since I was about 13. My next door neighbor was a deer hunter, and he asked me, did I want to go with him? Yeah, I want to go. So that's when I started going. Now they were dog hunters, so that's how I started, was dog hunting. And these people were real dog hunters. They weren't the ones that go out and party all day and stand by the fire and make one deer drive. These were serious people, and they hunted deer and they got the deal done. And I enjoyed that, but before I started deer hunting, I'd squirrel hunt and rabbit hunt with BB guns and pellet guns, stuff like that. And I always loved just sneaking up on the game and shooting it because I was able to get within range. So that's been my love for deer hunting all these years, is the stalk. I hunt mostly on the ground and slip around and stalk deer. That's what I do, and that's the way, that's how I love to do it. Now, I have climbing stands. I will climb a tree occasionally if the conditions are just right. And I've been in clubs, and I've hunted out of shoot houses on green fields and all that stuff. But my favorite method is hunting on the ground and stalking them. I have had so many close encounters with deer that it's incredible. And I don't get any kind of thrill better than that in the outdoors as when I'm 10 yards from a buck and that deer don't even know I'm there. And that has been the case with me literally hundreds of times. And I'll tell you those stories. In fact, for the rest of this deer season, when I come here and camp, I'm gonna have a deer story by the campfire each time that I come, and I've got some good ones. A couple of them involve Boone and Crockett class bucks. 3 of them involve deer that almost attacked me. So I've got some good deer stories, and so for the rest of this year, when I come here and camp during deer season, I'll tell a story by the campfire, and I think y'all will enjoy them. So after this video, keep watching, and you'll get to see my deer stories, and I'll tell them as I remember them, and will not embellish at all. They will be just like it happened, and I hope you'll stay tuned for that. Of course, when you're out here on these multi-day camping trips, you're going to get a little grimy. It's going to get nasty. The way I keep somewhat clean is with these things. They're called Dude Shower. It's a big wipe. They got some kind of lotions and things in them, fragrance free. I get them at Academies. You can order them online, but they're this size. They're thick. They're real wet with something. No smell. I just strip down and go all over with them, and they work real well. Make you feel a lot better than being just completely nasty. But that's the way I do it. Dead Downwind also makes something like this, but theirs is not as big. Their little towelette is not as big, but it works pretty well too. But anyway, if you camp a lot, and you might want to check out getting some of these things. I'm here for several days. I got a bar of soap in this box right back here. I just get right out there and strip down and pour water on me and soap up, and then pour water on me, and I bring a towel or two with me. But Yeah, out here camping you get nasty. It feels really good to get a little bit clean. So anyway, that's the way I do it. It's right after daylight this morning. I got to break this camp down and go home. I was going home this morning anyway, but I got some bad news last night. My youngest grandson fell in a bed of hot coals and burned his hands. And they took him to the hospital there where we live, but they sent him to a burn center in New Orleans. He's probably going to be okay, come out of it okay, but he burned his hands pretty good. And he's just such a fine little guy. I would, when you watch this video, it's probably going to be a couple of weeks old. But anyway, for those of you who pray, I would ask you to send a prayer up for Ben, that he would have a quick recovery. And for those of you who don't, I would urge you to start, because this whole world is in a mess, people. And the politicians, they're not going to make it any better. It's only going to get worse. There's only one way to fix this, and that's if enough people get on their knees and pray to God. And that's the only way to fix this. But if you want to meet Ben, you can go back in my previous videos and watch the one hiking with my grandson, and you can meet Ben on that video. And I'm not telling you that to get views on that video. I don't care about that right now. If you want to meet Ben, you can go watch that video. But anyway, I got to get all this packed up and go home. So I appreciate y'all watching, and I'll catch you on the next video.